Ombre is the word to describe the gradation of color from light to dark. And I'm using this idea for my pink-hued strawberry ombre cake. It may look ruffled on the outside, but it's bursting with color on the inside. And now to make the cake, which we're going to use in each of our recipes today, we're using the reverse creaming method. The butter is put in after the dry ingredients are all mixed, and you get a really nicely textured cake. So in a glass measuring cup, put 1 1/4 cups of milk and 4 large eggs. Just crack the eggs right into the cup. It's part by hand and part by machine. And of course, use the best eggs, whole organic milk, very important. And whisk the eggs right into the milk. And you can add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, but make sure the vanilla extract is really, really fine quality. When we were testing this cake, I used vanilla bean, but vanilla bean is very expensive. And if you use a really good vanilla extract, you can get almost as good a taste. That's good. So now the dry ingredients into the bowl of your mixer that's fitted with the paddle. 3 cups of cake flour, 1 3/4 cups of sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix this together. Now 2 sticks of butter at room temperature, and just add the wet ingredients. Add about a half first to moisten the dry, and then add the rest slowly. And now I'm going to mix it just a little bit more before I start to add the color. It's going to make this an ombre cake. So once your batter is finished, divide it amongst 5 bowls. You want to get even amounts because we're making 8-inch layers. And all the cake pans, they're 8 inch by 2 inches. They are buttered, floured, and lined with a parchment bottom. We're going to make 1 layer natural. Then we're using a deep pink gel food coloring. We're going to make our batter different shades of pink. So I'm adding like 1/3 of a toothpick. I'll use a 1/2 of a toothpick. A little goes a long way. I'll use 3/4 of a toothpick and a whole toothpick just to see if I'm going to get the right colors. So swirl that around. We want to get the coloring off the stick and stir that. The cakes bake slightly darker in color than the batter itself, so there's a very nice color right there. Now let's see this one. Quite a bit more color in this one. Definitely ombre already. Ombreing down the line. And now here we had 3/4 of a stick. Very good. And our strongest color of all. So now, put your colors in the appropriate pan. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. These cakes will bake about 15 minutes. Cool the cakes thoroughly before you decorate the cake. And so now, assembling the cake. Start with the darkest pink, and I like to use a cake round. Make sure the cake round has a little something underneath just to hold it in place. You can use a little frosting or you could use tape. And now, first step, warm a 1/2 cup of strawberry jam. And we want a thin flavoring of the jam on the surface of the cake. I didn't strain it, I didn't do anything. And then a cup of buttercream. This is a 1/2 cup. 1/2 cup. And spread this. You want a nice even layer all the way to the edge. Now the next deepest pink, this one. Another brushing of jam. And if you're wondering what kind of frosting this is, it's a pink-hued Swiss meringue buttercream with a vanilla flavor. And layer number 5. The last little brush. We're using a local farm-made jam, very flavorful, and keeps the moisture of the actual cake in. Spread this. And we want to do a light coating of icing all over the cake. It will serve as what we call a crumb coat, covering all parts of the cake so that there won't be any cake showing through. You could chill the cake at this point. It would be very good to refrigerate for 20 minutes. And then you're ready to completely decorate the cake in a very beautiful, unusual way. The pastry bag should be fitted with a large petal tip. And you can see it's wider at the bottom than at the top. This is a number 127, and it's filled with the same buttercream frosting. Start in the very center of the cake and make your center tight. And a turntable really helps. Just go round and around, and don't be afraid to push that tip down in the top of the frosting. And have a damp rag right next to you so you can wipe the tip. And you can stop and then add a petal, another petal. And what it looks like when you're done is a great big ruffled flower. Very cute. And you just keep going and going and going. And it uses up a lot of frosting. Did I mention that the frosting for this cake is 18 egg whites and 3 pounds of butter? The ultimate result is certainly worth it, I think. Now, this is the moment of truth. Use a very long, narrow, sharp knife and cut straight down. And now with an offset spatula. So beautiful. That is a thing of beauty. Enjoy.